But first up, let's talk about the single most important vote that you are going to cast when you go to the polls on Tuesday. And I have a confession to make about that. I voted against STV in the last election. I even campaigned against it in the last election. That's the single transferable vote for those of you who haven't been paying rapt attention to politics and instead been tuned to the Canucks. It was an idea that was spawned by an assembly of nonpartisan, everyday citizens, and at the time, I have to say, it didn't appeal to me. At the time, I believed that my vote was right because I liked our first-past-the-post system. Now, of course, looking back, I realized that at the time I liked it because our current system served my personal interests as a politician very well, thank you very much. I was an elected politician. I'd been chosen by the first-past-the-post system. And I, like many of the entrenched interests who are today fighting STV, didn't see a need to change a system that worked very well for me. But since I've been out of politics, my views have changed. Part of it's been due to the fact that I sit here in this chair every single day and I hear from you. And what do I hear when I talk to you about politics? I hear that people are sick to death of the way our political system works. And increasingly, I know that that frustration is borne out in the polls with fewer and fewer young people going to the polls every single year. They just say there's no point in exercising their franchise. A franchise, by the way, that a generation fought and died to protect. They say that there's no point in doing it because their vote doesn't matter. I hear you say that you're sick of seeing your vote being thrown away. You're sick of the fact that if you live in one of the 2/3 of the ridings that are considered safe and you don't choose to vote for the incumbent party, your vote goes in the garbage can. I hear you say that you're sick of politicians who ignore their constituents and they do what their leaders and their parties tell them to do instead. You're sick of politicians who attack each other with relentless vitriol that poisons us all, I think, against our entire democratic process. I hear you saying that you're sick of voting for a party even when the person that the party has chosen for you is someone who you think would embarrass you. Now, those are all things that bother you, but I can guarantee you that they are not things that bother the hacks and the backroom boys and the politicians who are currently served and elected by our first-past-the-post system. And when I look at so many of the people who are actively campaigning against STV, that is exactly what I see, including some of the ones you hear regularly here on this station, CKNW. I see people whose interests, and in many cases whose income, is dependent on keeping our system the way it is. People who, unlike you, relish the ugly realities of the first-past-the-post system. And they are scared because STV will change things. It will force politicians to compete for all of your votes. They will be looking to you to be your first choice, but if they don't get it, they want to be your second choice or your third. And in that context, no MLA is safe forever. Every vote will be counted. And we'll stop throwing away over half the votes that we throw away in every election because they're cast in safe seats. Second, politicians will be forced to listen to their communities first and their leaders and their parties second. When you vote, you will have several choices to pick from amongst your favorite party. Now, if, for example, you're a committed BC Liberal, wouldn't it be nice to be able to choose the BC Liberal among them who was brave enough to stand up against his or her party to stop that prison or that road from going through your backyard? Wouldn't it be nice to choose the one who actually listened to you between elections? Third, STV will give you choices from among the individuals, and you will get the chance to select the one that you think is the smartest, the one that you think is the most ethical, someone that you think you can respect. How many times have you walked into the polls and found that the political party that you like has foisted a candidate on you who you think's an embarrassment, but you end up voting for them anyway because you like the party that they're with? Well, you can say goodbye to voting for bumblers who are destined to for the backbench. With STV, you get a chance to choose the best person. It's not the backroomers who choose it for you. And last, the level of hateful invective will diminish immeasurably. Under STV, all politicians will have an incentive to get along. They'll be hoping to be the second or third choices, as I said, on your ballot. The toxic insults and the nasty rhetoric will be turned down to a lower ebb. Finally, for once, politicians will stop trying to win by ruining each other and start trying to win by acknowledging each other. Now, to me, this is the biggest, most fundamental change that STV could bring about. and it's civility in politics. If we care about civility in society, we must care about it in politics. So on Tuesday, you will have two choices to make. The first will be a short-term choice. It'll be a choice of who will run our system for the next 4 years. And you will vote for someone who has been chosen for you by the entrenched interest in a big party machine. People who will be accountable to that big party machine, not to you. And perhaps people who will get elected, not because of who they are, but because they have proven to be the best at slinging mud. The other vote that you will cast will be much more important. It will be the vote that determines if the next time you walk into that ballot box, you will be faced with the same ugly choices. Einstein said that insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. We have a chance in this election, perhaps a once-in-a-lifetime chance to do things differently. We have a chance to change our political system and remake it into something we can have some measure of faith in. And if the established interests succeed in defeating this on Tuesday, they will not give you another chance. I hope British Columbians take this chance. This is a chance for real change. I hope that you will join me on Tuesday in voting in favor of the single transferable vote. This is Christie Clark here on CKNW News Talk 980.